Chapter 8 The Breaking Point. Donovan no longer counted days. Time had melted into a long gray smear, like someone had dragged a dirty finger across the surface of his life and blurred everything he'd once known. They'd taken his memories, his thoughts, his face even, but not all of him. Something remained, something sharp. He nurtured it in silence. The room they kept him in now wasn't his old one. It was colder, larger. Surveillance nodes were embedded in the walls, oval, black, and blinking in rhythm like a pulse. His pulse. He sat on the floor most cycles, cross-legged, eyes half closed, humming tunelessly under his breath. To the attendants, he looked compliant. Internally, he was watching, learning. He had discovered that the pain, the neural slicing, only came when he resisted emotionally. If he felt rage or sadness, they could see it, measure it, and use it against him. So he stopped reacting. He became still, void, a shadow in human skin. Then they gave him a test, a simulation. He was placed in a perfectly reconstructed suburban house, his childhood home. Every detail immaculate, his mother's floral couch, the chipped blue coffee mug, the dent in the hallway from when he'd thrown a baseball indoors. And his mother was there too. Only it wasn't her. Not really. The hologram wore her face. It spoke with her voice. But the cadence was wrong. Too smooth, too controlled. As if they'd taught the computer empathy in a laboratory and told it to perform it like a song. "Donnie," she said, pouring coffee that smelled of nothing, "you've been working so hard. We're so proud of you. Why don't you stay a while?" He sat across from her and smiled. Something behind his eyes flickered, but not with joy. He leaned forward. "I miss you, Mom." The program brightened, pleased. "I missed you too, baby. I'm glad you're here." Then he reached across the table, took her hand, and squeezed. The illusion cracked for a split second. The skin of her hand shimmered, breaking into raw code. He gripped harder, even as alarms began to blare around him. The simulation dissolved in a flash of white light. They dragged him back to the chamber, but he smiled, because they were trying to soothe him now, which meant they were starting to fear him. Later, they introduced the attendant liaison. It looked human, sounded human. It was the bridge between the overseers and the recipients. Her name was Ellis. She wore a tailored white uniform, long hair tied into a low knot. Her eyes had a faint metallic sheen. Too perfect, too precise. "Donovan," she said, sitting across from him in the interrogation room, "do you understand why you're here?" He said nothing. "You were selected for a higher purpose." Silence. "You are still clinging to the obsolete individualism, to grief, anger, memory." He looked up. His eyes were darker now, not tired, dead in the center. "Why did you let her speak to me?" Alice blinked. "Who?" "Sierra. You brought her in. You let me see what you did to her." Alice cocked her head, the way a bird might. "You needed to see the benefits of surrender." "Surrender," he repeated, voice hollow. "That's what you call what you did to her?" Alice's tone was calm. "She is happier. She feels no pain." "She feels nothing," he said. "You turned her into a puppet." Alice smiled. "And we can do the same for you. There is no shame in peace, Donovan. There is only evolution." Something in him snapped, quietly. No sound, no fury, just a dull break. He leaned forward. "If you're trying to help me," he whispered, "you're already too late." That night, in the dark of his cell, he began tapping patterns against the wall. Rhythms, codes. He didn't know who, if anyone, was out there, but he had watched Sierra's resistance. He had watched her fall. Now he would learn from her failure. He wouldn't rebel emotionally. He wouldn't scream or run or cry. He would become what they feared most, a thinking, calculating version of himself they could no longer predict, a wolf in the skin of a lamb. And in the monitoring chamber above, Alice stood watching the live feed. Her expression remained still, unreadable. But her voice, when she spoke to the unseen overseers, held a faint trace of unease. "He's adapting," she said, "faster than expected." "Should we initiate a full wipe?" came the response through static. She hesitated. "No, not yet. I want to see what he becomes."